Good morning all, that's me in the corner. I've come to Canterbury Motorhome Aire, which is right next to a park and ride, and there's free buses as part of that to get into town. I might move it later. That's the area where you empty your waste and fill up with water. There's this little section here. The main car park for cars is over there, but as I understand it, you can park motorhomes in there as well. There are one or two already. And there's another section through here. This has got massive RVs in it, and it might be a bit quieter in there, so I might move there a bit later on. That's where the buses go. It's called New Dover Road Park and Ride, but it's Canterbury Motorhome Aire on any maps and Park for Night. Middle of September, it's not busy, so it may well be quieter over here actually once all these cars are gone. You get a ticket when you come in, and then you show that to the bus driver, so you can then head into town. Again, as I understand it, you can go in as often as you want. It's £4 per day, starts at midnight, so if you arrive at 1 minute to midnight, you're paying £4 for that day. If you arrive at 1 minute past, then you've got 23 hours and 59 minutes. So overnight, you're in two 24-hour periods, so that's £8. If you stay 2 nights, then you're in three 24-hour periods, so £12 for 2 nights. I think that's how the way it works. Anyway, I'm going to go and get a bus, head into the city, have a bit of walk around, but I want to visit St. Augustine's Abbey. So that's the main reason for coming here. And sun is out still. It's Saturday the what is it now, 21st. I think it's equinox tomorrow morning, same length of day as night. I'll give you a small glimpse of the city. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to go straight to St. Augustine's Abbey, which is outside the centre, and see how that goes, and then maybe come back here later. Part of the city walls there. One of the main gates into the city, and walls continue all the way around. It says that St. Augustine's Abbey is this way. That's an imposing looking building at the end of this little street. The main reason for coming here is to go to St. Augustine's Abbey, which is an English heritage site. I suppose I might go into the town, but it's Saturday, it's going to be chocker. It's probably not my thing. Who would pick a Saturday to come into a big city? I don't know. The park and ride seems to have worked alright, so £4 for midnight to midnight. I think I'll move the van. I think later on those cars will have gone, and it would be quieter in the main area. I don't particularly want to be next to partying people. Right, St. Augustine's Abbey is here. It's got a posh new wall. Takes us into St. Augustine's Abbey here, and then we've got the main entrance. So once you've got your ticket or shown your pass, there's a fantastic exhibition in this building, telling you all about the site. St. Augustine, journey from Rome in May 595. He was the one who set this up. When Augustine arrived in Thanet in 597, he was greeted by Ethelbert, Anglo-Saxon king of Kent, and his wife, and his duty was to convert the English to Christianity. He was given an area in the centre of Canterbury to build a church, which became Canterbury Cathedral, and then this one is where the monks lived. I think I'm going to go round the perimeter first, round here in front of me. I think this is the last sunny day we've got before the rains are coming. They do audio guides here. That's not going to help you lot. And with the panels, I find them confusing. So I'd rather just have a walk around, get the lay of the land, look at some panels. And there's an annoying helicopter, wish you would go away. And we'll go and have a look at some of these rooms in a bit. First sign here, it says, in 1538 Henry VIII closed the Abbey, bringing to an end over 9 centuries of monastic life on the site. A royal palace was built and a fine garden was laid out. That will be somewhere else then. From 1539 to 1540 the abbot's lodgings were converted to form a royal palace for Henry VIII's new wife, Anne of Cleves. In the end, she did not stay here, but the palace was later used by both Queen Elizabeth I and King Charles I. By 1612, the palace had been leased to Lord Edward Wotton and his wife. They employed the celebrated gardener John Tradescant to create a formal garden here. So this is showing the formal gardens which have now gone. So where I'm standing is about here, and it's car parks, and it's been built on the other side. This is the arch window at the end of St Pancras Church, and these are the only standing remains from the Anglo-Saxon monastery. This church was originally built in the 7th century using Roman material, the red brick. It stood separate from the other Anglo-Saxon structures, so it survived the Norman rebuilding. That church is just to my left, so we're at the far eastern end of the Abbey now. And this car park to my right is where the formal garden would have been. It's car parking maybe for the houses to the right here, not sure. Monk's Cemetery. This wall separated Monk's Cemetery on this side from a larger public cemetery on the other side, which stretched as far as the modern street called Longport. The cemetery gate, built in 1390, can still be seen outside the Abbey gate. This building has got an interesting round bit at the end. Lady Chapel and Crypt. Lady chapels were used for special performances of masses in honour of the Virgin Mary. This one was first built in the 14th century to replace a lady chapel in the crypt. It was rebuilt around 1500 and the foundations of both phases are visible. This was the infirmary. Under this field lie the remains of the monks' infirmary, where sick and elderly members of the community were cared for. The building looks like it's still in use. Not sure what it is, but we'll find out no doubt as we walk around. And I'm going to head round this bit, which looks like a cloisters. Again, we shall find out. Yep, guess right. The sign was saying this was the Abbey's cloister. It housed one of the great centres of book production in medieval England. The Abbey scriptorium continued to produce fine books up until the 15th century, when its library had around 1900 volumes. I think they need to remove that plant growing out the top. The rectangular area was the Abbey's refectory, or dining hall, where the monks ate together twice a day. The abbot or his deputy sat at a separate table on a raised platform just in front of you. Meals were taken in silence, apart from one of the monks reading a lesson from the Bible. If the monks needed to communicate with one another, it had to be done in sign language. The refectory was this building where we just see the foundations of the walls. This was demolished in the mid-16th century. The buildings you see ahead, this one here, was built around 1845 as part of an Anglican missionary college. Today, they're part of the King's School. King's School in Canterbury. There are probably people in there looking at me. I heard a buzzing noise. Look at, I don't know if you can see bees. Making a racket around that, whatever that tree is. I'm standing in what was the kitchen. Of course, if you have a dining hall, you need a kitchen. And this was the kitchen. It had 4 ovens, it says on the sign there. And then just walking back into the cloisters. This foundations is a lavatorium. This octagonal building held a basin and fountain where the monks washed their hands before going to the refectory. This was built around 1270 under Abbot Roger of Chichester, who paid for it himself. What did they say? The red brick was the Roman brick? This is tombs of kings and bishops. Anglo-Saxon kings and early bishops were buried here, including St. Augustine himself. The brick foundations in front of you are the only visible remains of Augustine's first church, built soon after AD 597. You are facing the porticus of St. Gregory, a room on the north side of the church which held the tomb of Augustine. Its location is marked by a commemorative stone on the left. So that's what it looked like. Oh, so the bit we were just looking at, which is uncovered, is the red bit right in the middle. So to my left is the rest of the tomb. So basically all this bit, massive area, was the tomb, and there are plaques saying who was buried where. I've almost gone full circle now, and this is another wall. You can't get behind that, it's all part of the school, I think. This is the vestibule. This marks the main entrance to Augustine's original church, built soon after AD 597. It led into a vestibule or hall, which led into the main nave. Fantastic pillar just to my left. There's only one of those. This is the end, so this is the western end. That's giving you a full view of the Abbey. That one in the middle, that's a reconstruction of the Anglo-Saxon monastery before it was destroyed by the Normans. Extensions were made to Augustine's first church, and a new church dedicated to St Mary was built around AD 620. This one is the new Norman church. This was completed around 1100 and was a similar size to the present Canterbury Cathedral. It stood here for 400 years until it was destroyed by order of Henry VIII. It was saying that red brick at the top of that was part of the palace that was built by Henry VIII. He didn't destroy everything. He kept the bits he liked and turned other bits into a palace. So now I'm going to take a walk down the middle and just explore more of the rooms in the middle here. And all these clumps of stone to the left are the bases of the pillars. Chapel of St Anne, this little room. The Chantry Chapel was added to the church in 1362, a gift of Juliana de Leybourne, Countess of Huntingdon. Like many wealthy people, she gave money to the Abbey so that prayers would be said in her memory. These modern tombs mark the graves of 3 Anglo-Saxon kings of Kent. Eadbald died 640, Hlothere died 683, and Withred died 725. Mulus died 686, was a king of Wessex who invaded Kent. They were originally buried in the Anglo-Saxon Church of St Mary. And this unusual building is called Wulfric's Rotunda. Abbot Wulfric II built an unusual tower here to link 2 Anglo-Saxon churches together. You are looking at its crypt. And just behind that is the crypt. So this is the crypt of the Norman church, used by the monks for burials and prayer. Find out what that building at the end is. Would have been arches. You can just see the curved in the stone there, so arches all the way across. This little side chapel is the chapel of St Thomas the Apostle. Special masses were said at side altars like this to ask the saint to help in the answer for prayers. Pieces of its altar slab were found loose when the chapel was excavated in the early 1900s. Here we have the Chapel of the Blessed Virgin Mary. This chapel was used for the singing of Mass for nearly 200 years. You can still see its wall painting design of heraldic lions in circles. There are also surviving floor tiles relayed here from elsewhere in the church. I just come up to a hill in the corner. I think that's a good shot with Canterbury Cathedral in the background, St Augustine's Abbey, or what's left of it, in the foreground, and the school in the centre. Well, that's been pretty cool. Had a good walk around there. I think I'm going to get a coffee in the shop and a flapjack and have a sit down for half an hour and decide what to do next. So whether to go into town, I suppose I've got to really. Anyway, that's probably it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.